I am tired of financially supporting a gold digger. You need to contribute equally. So I showed her exactly where my paycheck had been going for the past 7 years, and who was really getting the gold digger treatment. I am Cameron, 34, been working as an electrician for 12 years now. Make decent money, around $65K a year, more when I pick up overtime, which I have been doing a lot lately. Been married to Miranda for 7 years. She is 32, works as an office manager making about $45K on paper. We should be doing fine financially. But here is the thing. I haven't seen my own paycheck in 7 years. When we got married, Miranda convinced me she was better with money management. You are too impulsive with spending, she would say. Let me handle the finances so we can actually build a future together. Made sense at the time. She had a business degree. I was good with electrical work but not great with budgeting. So I set up direct deposit straight into her account and figured we were being smart about it. For 7 years, I have had to ask permission for everything. Honey, can I get $20 for lunch with my brother Jake? Babe, I need 40 for new work boots. These ones are falling apart. Every single expense had to go through Miranda first. She had lectured me about unnecessary spending. We are so close to our savings goals, she would say. Just a few more months of extra hours and we will be set. So I busted my ass. Worked weekends, took every overtime shift available, even picked up side jobs when I could. I trusted her completely with our money because I thought we were building something together. Last Tuesday, that trust exploded in my face. I came home from a particularly brutal double shift, exhausted and covered in dust from running wire through a nasty crawl space all day. Miranda was in the kitchen making dinner, acting normal. Then she dropped the bomb. Cameron, I have been thinking about our finances. I think we should start splitting all household bills 50-50. It is only fair. I just stared at her. 50-50. But you handle all the money already. I don't even know what our bills are. Exactly, she said, not even looking up from the stove. I am tired of financially supporting a gold digger. You need to start contributing equally to this relationship. Gold digger. She called me a gold digger. I work 50-hour weeks in attics and crawl spaces, come home covered in insulation and dirt, and she calls me a gold digger for asking for lunch money from my own paycheck. Miranda, what the hell? It is my paycheck you have been managing. How am I a gold digger when I am working overtime to contribute more? You live in my house, eat my food, drive my car. When is the last time you paid for anything significant? I handle the mortgage, utilities, groceries, everything. All you do is work and expect me to take care of the rest. Her house, her car, I had been paying for everything through my direct deposit, but apparently, none of it was mine. Fine, I said, trying to stay calm. If we are splitting bills 50-50, I need to see the bank statements. I need to know what I am paying for. Her face went white. Why do you need to see statements? I told you what the bills are. Because if I am writing checks, I want to know where my money's going. That is reasonable, right? She started backpedaling immediately, saying we could discuss it later, that she had need time to organize everything. But something in her voice told me there was more to this story. The next morning, while Miranda was at work, I did something I probably should have done years ago. I called our bank and requested statements for all accounts under both our names. Thank God my name was still on everything from when we first got married. What I found made me physically sick. Our main checking account, where my paychecks went, showed a balance of about $800. Normal household expenses, mortgage, utilities, groceries, came to around $2,800 a month. Huge transfers, almost every month. $3,000 to $4,000 was being moved to a savings account I didn't know existed. An account with only Miranda's name on it. An account with $85,000 in it. My overtime money, my weekend work, my side jobs, all sitting in an account I had no access to while I was asking for $20 lunch money. But that wasn't even the worst part. As I went through the statements, I started seeing expenses that made no sense. Fitness coaching charges for $800 a month. Business lunches at restaurants I had never heard of for $600 a month. Hotel bookings downtown on days Miranda claimed to be working late. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. Venmo payments. Regular payments to someone called Derek Fitlife for $1,200 every month. $1,200 a month to some guy named Derek, while I was eating peanut butter sandwiches for lunch, because asking for grocery money made me feel like a burden. I spent the rest of the day going through every statement I could get my hands on. The picture that emerged was devastating. Miranda wasn't just controlling our finances. She was funding an entire secret life. Restaurant charges at places I had never been. Shopping trips I had never heard about. Even what looked like car research saved on our shared computer, under best cars under $35K for young professionals. That night, when Miranda came home, I was sitting at the kitchen table with printouts spread everywhere. "We need to talk," I said. She saw the papers, and I watched her face cycle through surprise, fear, and then anger. "You went behind my back to look at our accounts. That is a violation of trust." Trust? I held up a Venmo statement. "Who is Derek?" "Miranda." The silence that followed told me everything I needed to know. "It is not what you think," she finally said. "Tell me why you are sending $1,200 a month to some guy while I am asking you for $20 lunch money. Tell me about the hotels, the restaurants, the fitness coaching." She sat down across from me, and for a moment, I thought she might actually tell me the truth. She doubled down on the lies. "Derek is a financial advisor. He is helping me invest our money for better returns. The restaurants are business meetings. The hotels are work conferences. You are being paranoid." But I could see right through her now. 7 years of gaslighting, and suddenly everything was crystal clear. "Show me his business license," I said. "Show me the conference schedules. Show me one piece of proof that any of this is legitimate." She couldn't. Of course, because Derek wasn't a financial advisor, and I was about to find out exactly what he was. I had to work a double shift yesterday, and needed time to process everything that has happened. This situation gets so much worse. After our confrontation Tuesday night, Miranda stormed off to the bedroom and slammed the door. I stayed up until 3 a.m. going through every financial record I could find. The more I dug, the angrier I got. The $85,000 in her secret account was just the beginning. I found credit card statements I had never seen before, all in her name but somehow connected to our household. She had been living an entirely different life while keeping me on an allowance from my own paycheck. Wednesday morning I called in sick to work, first time in 2 years, but I needed answers. I drove to Derek's Instagram profile that I had found through the Venmo payments. Derek Fitlife. Turns out he is a personal trainer, or at least that is what he claims to be. His bio said entrepreneur and lifestyle coach, but his posts were all gym selfies and motivational quotes. Here is where it gets interesting. Looking through his photos, I recognized places, restaurants I had seen charges for on our statements. The hotel downtown where Miranda had claimed to attend work conferences, even our local Target where Miranda had supposedly been doing routine grocery shopping. But the receipts showed expensive electronics and clothes. In one photo from 3 weeks ago, Derek was wearing a watch I recognized, a $1,200 Apple Watch that had shown up on our credit card statement as a business expense. I screenshot everything and then did something that felt crazy but necessary. I hired a private investigator. Cost me $2,000 from a small savings account Miranda didn't know about. Money I had been setting aside from the occasional cash side jobs. The pie was a guy named Frank that my brother Jake recommended. Frank had helped Jake during his divorce 5 years ago. I met him at a diner near my work and laid out everything I had found. "How long do you need to confirm if they are having an affair?" I asked. "If she is as careless as these records suggest, maybe a week. But Cameron, from what you are showing me, she has been systematically stealing from you for years." Frank was right, but hearing someone else say it hit different. I had been calling it managing our finances for so long that I had forgotten what financial partnership actually looked like. Thursday evening, Frank called me with preliminary results. Miranda and Derek had been meeting regularly for 8 months. Hotel visits, restaurant dates, shopping trips, the works. But here is the part that really got to me. According to Frank's surveillance, Derek was driving a car I had never seen before, a brand new Camaro that had appeared in his social media about 2 months ago. "I ran the registration," Frank said. "It is not in his name." "Want to guess whose name it is under?" My stomach dropped. "Miranda's got it in one. Loan was approved 6 weeks ago. Monthly payments are $487. So while I was eating peanut butter sandwiches and asking for gas money, my wife was buying her boyfriend a sports car with money I had earned working double shifts. Friday afternoon, Frank sent me a comprehensive report, photos of Miranda and Derek together, financial records showing the scope of her spending on him, even evidence that she had been paying his rent for the past 3 months. The guy was essentially unemployed, living off my electrician's salary while I lived like a pauper in my own house. But the report had one more bombshell that I wasn't prepared for. According to Derek's social media and Frank's investigation, Derek had no idea Miranda was married. His Instagram posts referred to her as his successful businesswoman girlfriend, who was independent and driven. In several posts, he thanked her for supporting his entrepreneurial journey and mentioned how lucky he was to have found someone so self-made. Miranda had been lying to both of us. While she was calling me a gold digger, she was telling her boyfriend she was independently wealthy. I printed every bank statement, every credit card bill, every photo Frank had taken. I organized it all in a folder and waited for Miranda to come home from her yoga class. She walked in around noon, looking relaxed and happy, probably because she had just spent the morning with Derek, spending money I had earned. "Miranda, sit down. We need to finish our conversation from Tuesday night." She saw the folder and immediately got defensive. "I told you, Cameron, I can explain everything. You are making this bigger than it needs to be." "Really? Because I would love an explanation for this." I pulled out a photo of Derek wearing the Apple Watch, or this bank statement showing the car loan payments, or maybe this hotel receipt from last weekend, when she had claimed to be visiting her sister Lisa. "But you don't understand the situation." "Then help me understand. Help me understand how I am a gold digger while you are buying cars for your unemployed boyfriend." Derek isn't unemployed. He is building a business. He needed support during the startup phase. With my money, while I am asking you for lunch money from my paycheck. That is when she said something that made me realize how far gone she really was. Derek appreciates what I do for him. He doesn't take me for granted like you do. He sees my value. I just stared at her. After 7 years of working overtime to support what I thought was our shared future, she was telling me that her boyfriend appreciated her more because he was grateful for the money she was stealing from me to give to him. "Miranda, Derek doesn't even know you are married, does he?" Her silence was answer enough. That is when I pulled out my phone and did something I had been thinking about for 2 days. I texted Derek from her phone, "Emergency at home. Can you come over right now? Need you here." She tried to grab the phone from me, but I was already hitting send. "What did you just do?" "I think it is time." Derek learned the truth about where his support system really comes from. 20 minutes later, there was a knock on our front door, and that is when this whole situation exploded in ways I never could have predicted. Update 2. Finally ready to tell you guys how this all went down. So Derek shows up at our front door 20 minutes after I sent that text. I could see him through the window. Young guy, probably late 20s, wearing expensive clothes and that Apple Watch Miranda bought him. He looked genuinely concerned, like he was worried about his girlfriend having some kind of emergency. Miranda was panicking, begging me not to answer the door, promising she would end things with Derek immediately if I just kept quiet. But I was done being quiet. 7 years of being told I was irresponsible with money, while she was funding someone else's entire lifestyle. I wanted answers, and Derek deserved to know the truth too. I opened the door and Derek immediately looked confused. "Is Miranda okay?" She texted me about an emergency, but he was looking back and forth between me and Miranda, clearly trying to figure out what was going on. "Derek, right? I am Cameron. Come on in. We need to talk." Miranda jumped up from the couch. "Derek, you don't need to stay. Everything's fine, just a misunderstanding." But Derek was staring at our living room. Family photos on the walls, my work boots by the door, clearly 2 people living together as more than roommates. Miranda, who is this guy exactly? I decided to cut straight to the chase. I am her husband. The look on Derek's face was like watching someone solve a puzzle in real time. Confusion, then understanding, then anger. Husband? Miranda. You told me you were single. You said Cameron was just some guy renting a room to help with bills. I can explain everything. Miranda started, but Derek was already backing toward the door. Explain what? That you are married. That you have been lying to me for 8 months. That is when I spoke up. There is something else you should know about those bills you think she has been helping with. I handed him the folder of financial records, bank statements showing my direct deposits, the transfers to Miranda's secret account, the payments to Derek himself. Every dollar Miranda's given you came from my paycheck. The car, the rent money, the restaurants, all of it. Derek sat down heavily on our couch, flipping through the papers. This says you make $65,000 a year. Miranda told me you were unemployed, that she was letting you stay here out of kindness. Unemployed? I almost laughed. Dude, I am an electrician. I work 50-hour weeks. Every overtime shift I picked up. Every weekend I worked. I thought I was building a future with my wife. Turns out, I was funding your relationship. Turns out it was exploded. This is ridiculous, Derek. But Derek was looking at a bank statement showing a $1,200 Venmo payment to his account from just last week. Miranda, is this real? Have you been taking his money to give to me? The silence stretched for about 30 seconds, before Derek stood up and headed for the door. I cannot be part of this. I don't date married women, and I definitely don't take money from someone's husband. This is insane. Derek, wait. Miranda chased after him, but he was already outside. I followed them out to the driveway, mostly because I wanted to see how this played out. Derek stopped at the Camaro, the car I had been making payments on without knowing it. I cannot drive this anymore, he said to Miranda. If it is not your money, then I cannot keep it. It is my money. I earned it. Derek looked back at me, then at Miranda. By lying to your husband and stealing his paycheck. That is not earning it. That is theft. He pulled the keys out of his pocket and handed them to her. Figure out your life, Miranda, and don't contact me again until you are divorced and being honest about who you are. Derek walked away, pulling out his phone to call an Uber. Miranda stood in our driveway holding the keys to a car she had bought with my money for a boyfriend who wanted nothing to do with her anymore. This is when the real meltdown started. Look what you have done. She screamed at me. You have ruined everything. Derek was going to help us build a business together. He had real potential. With my money, Miranda, you were building his business with my money while telling me I was too irresponsible to handle finances. You don't understand. Derek has vision. He was going to make us rich. I just stared at her. Even after being caught, even after losing Derek, she was still trying to justify stealing from me to fund another man's dreams. Miranda, Derek's not an entrepreneur. He is a personal trainer who couldn't even afford his own car. You have been supporting a grown man with my electrician's salary while making me ask for lunch money. That night, after Miranda locked herself in the bedroom, I did what I should have done 7 years ago. I went online and moved my direct deposit to a new account that only I could access. I also called the bank and removed Miranda's access to the checking account my paychecks had been going into. Sunday morning, Miranda came out of the bedroom like nothing had happened and started making breakfast. I have been thinking, she said. Maybe we can work through this. I will end things with Derek completely, and we can go to counseling. Miranda, Derek already ended things, and so am I. I handed her the folder with all the financial evidence. I am filing for divorce. I have got proof of adultery, financial abuse, and fraud. You can keep the Camaro since it is in your name, but you will be making the payments yourself. She tried arguing, promising to change, even offering to give me access to the secret savings account. But it was too late. 7 years of lies, manipulation, and theft had finally caught up with her. The kicker: Derek had blocked her on everything by Sunday night. Instagram, phone, even Venmo. The guy she had destroyed our marriage for wanted nothing to do with her once he learned the truth. Today, I met with a divorce lawyer. Based on the evidence of infidelity and financial abuse, I should get most of our shared assets back, including that $85,000 she had been hiding. Miranda will be stuck with the car payments, and according to my lawyer, she might even face criminal charges for financial fraud. The house feels different now, quiet, but in a good way. No more asking permission to spend my own money. No more working overtime to fund someone else's dreams while living like I am broke. Jake came over last night with pizza and beer. I never liked her, he said. Always thought there was something off about a wife who made her husband ask for gas money. He was right. I should have listened to that feeling years ago, but at least now I know what financial freedom feels like again. And it feels a hell of a lot better than being called a gold digger while working overtime to pay for my wife's boyfriend's car. Final update. Divorce papers were served yesterday. Miranda's reaction was exactly what you would expect: denial, anger, bargaining, the whole cycle. But the evidence is overwhelming, and my lawyer says this should be straightforward. The aftermath has been interesting to watch. Derek blocked Miranda on everything. But I heard through social media that he had posted a long story about being manipulated by someone who lied about their entire life. Apparently, several of his friends had suspected something was off when Miranda suddenly appeared with unlimited funds but vague explanations about her job. Miranda tried reaching out to Derek through mutual friends. But word is, he is completely done. He told someone he felt disgusted, knowing he would unknowingly been part of destroying a marriage and stealing from another man. As for Miranda, she has had to move in with her sister Lisa temporarily. Turns out when you are suddenly responsible for your own bills after 7 years of using someone else's income, life gets expensive fast. The Camaro got repossessed after she missed 2 payments. She is working extra hours at her office job, but $45K doesn't go as far when you are not supplementing it with someone else's $65K. The $85,000 from the secret account is being held in escrow until the divorce is finalized. But my lawyer is confident I will get most of it back since it was earned through my labor and hidden from me through deception. I have been thinking a lot about those 7 years, how I normalized asking for permission to spend money I earned, how I worked overtime thinking I was building our future while actually funding my replacement. The signs were all there. I just trusted someone who was systematically taking advantage of that trust. My brother Jake helped me set up a proper budget. Turns out when you are not sending $4,000 a month to fund someone else's lifestyle, you can actually build savings pretty quickly. I have got my own account now, my own financial goals, and nobody to ask permission from when I want to grab lunch with friends. The house is peaceful. No more walking on eggshells about money. No more feeling like a guest in my own life. I am even thinking about getting that truck I have wanted for years with my own money, from my own account, because I am an adult who earns a living and doesn't need permission to spend it. Derek, if you are reading this somehow, thanks for having the integrity to walk away when you learned the truth. You could have kept taking the money and stayed quiet, but you did the right thing. That means something. The divorce should be final in about 6 weeks. After that, I am thinking about taking a vacation. The first one I will have paid for myself in 7 years. Feels like the right way to start this new chapter.